Hello everyone. Today we're just going to do a very simple lesson over fractions. Fractions is something that I feel like all students have a little bit of difficulty with. And really all that a fraction is a part of a whole. And when we write that in fractional form, it is the part over the whole. Another way that we can represent this, so we have 3 parts out of the whole 5 parts. We have the whole 5 parts and only 3 of those. All right, so the way we would show that is we would shade in 3 of the 5. All right, down here, I want you guys to go ahead and show what that would look like if you have your part of 4 over your whole of 10. And then after that, I want you to look and say, which is bigger? All right, so which is bigger out of the 3/5 or the 4/10? And write it right here, okay? So you could go ahead and pause the video at this time if you want to finish that. Next, what we're going to do is we are going to change a fraction into a decimal, because that's something in your math classes that you are asked to do many times, okay? So one thing when you're doing this is why I think it's very important to use the yellow calculators that are provided to you in your math class. You're going to use this N over D button, which is right here, okay? And we have 3/5. We need to figure out what 3/5 is. So we're just going to put in our 3. We're going to arrow down to 5 and hit enter. Okay, and then after that, we need to hit our toggle button. And that shows us it is 0.6 or 6/10. All right, and I get the tenths because 6 falls in the tenths position, which is 1 position to the right of the decimal, less than 1. All right. Now our next one, I'm going to have you do the 4/10. So you can go ahead and pause it right now while you finish what is 4/10 as a decimal. All right, moving on now, you are going to change the decimal into a percentage by moving the decimal 2 places to the right. So if we look here, we're going to use this one right here, 3/5 we changed to 6/10. I'm going to write 6/10 here. All right, and now I'm going to change that into a percentage. So we need to move the decimal 2 places to the right. So I'm starting off with my decimal here, and I'm just going to go ahead and do 1, 2. All right, and I'm putting my decimal there. Now we have an empty space there, which we need to fill in with a 0. So that is actually 60%. So 6/10 is equal to 60%. So you can go ahead and pause this now because you will be changing whatever decimal you got for 4/10, you're going to change that into a percentage. All right, our next section right here is you are going to place the fractions in order from the least, which I'm going to write it right here, up to the greatest, which I'm going to write right here. Now I think looking at this will be a little bit difficult to do if you're not really comfortable with fractions. An easy way to figure this out, because they don't have the same denominator. If they had the same denominator, it'd be very easy to place them from least to greatest. But the fact that they don't have the same denominator, I think it's easiest to go ahead and first convert these into a decimal like we did over here. So I would first convert 7/8 into a decimal and write it right above there. Okay, so we'll do that one. So again, we're going to go back to N over D, and we're going to do 7/8. Hit enter, and our toggle button right here. And we get 0.875. So I'm going to write that above here. And if I'm thinking about this, 0.875, that's pretty close to 1. So I know it's going to fall out here somewhere, but I'm just going to wait, okay, until I have all these done. I think everyone should know, without doing this, what 1/2 is. 1/2 is 0.5. All right, so obviously 0.8, even just looking at that, is bigger than 0.5. So what you'll do is go ahead and change all these into decimals and then put them from least to greatest. And when you put them over here, I want you not to put the decimal, I want you to put the fraction from least to greatest. So I'll go ahead and you can pause this now while you go ahead and complete this section. All right, our last section is what you're going to do is you're going to have to change the following percentages to decimals. Okay, this is something you would even have to do in everyday life, okay? So if this is 50%, okay? First, we need to change 50% to a decimal. All right, first thing you need to think of is, where is this decimal at? Where does the decimal start at? There's a decimal right here after the 0. All right, now we need to move that decimal 2 places to the left. We're going the opposite direction. All right, so here, if we have the 50%, we're moving it 2 places. So that decimal is now in front of the 5. So we have, you could write it as 0.5, 5/10, or 0.50, or 50 hundredths. All right, either of these are the same. It's the same value. All right, so what might be helpful to do is to go ahead and put your decimal after all your percentages here, and then just know you move those 2 places to the left. If you have an empty space, remember we fill that in with a 0. Now over here, you have 5 and 1/2%. You're going to have to change this 1/2 to a decimal first, which we've already done 1/2 as a decimal. Then go ahead and move it. All right. So you'll have these 5 to finish now. Once you're done, show it to your teacher to get your points for your skills lesson today. Thank you very much.